The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's BWI webcast. This is our PLM webcast series, and today we'll be discussing best practices for multi-CAD data management inside Windchill using various CAD tools, including AutoCAD, Inventor, and Solidworks. Here are instructions on how participants in today's webcast. You're in listen-only mode, so we will read out questions in a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. My name is Matt Tognerelli. I'll be your moderator for today's webcast. Sri Subramanian will be our presenter this afternoon. The agenda for today's webcast will include a brief BWIR intro, who we are, how we help manufacturers as a total solutions partner, Windchill PDM link presentation with best practices for multi-CAD, including Solidworks, Inventor, AutoCAD data, including a live demo. Then we will wrap up with a short Q&A poll. Barry-Wehmiller International Resources is a global engineering and enterprise consulting group of Barry-Wehmiller, a U.S.-based manufacturing company with operations worldwide, going on 130 years of business and approaching $2 billion in annual revenue. Barry-Wehmiller International Resources helps manufacturers solve business, engineering, and IT challenges that impact growth, cost, and risk through the power of inspired people. Leveraging our 129 years of manufacturing legacy, we provide manufacturers end-to-end solutions with core capabilities in PTC, PLM, engineering services such as machine design and mechanical engineering, and enterprise solutions including ERP, CRM, EAM, and so on. BWIR is your total solutions partner for engineering and enterprise. Our product development solutions include PTC products and our PLM consulting services. A few things about us: we were selected as one of the fastest growing PTC partners in North American channel in 2013. We're also certified as a Windchill preferred partner with PTC. Again, leveraging Barry-Wehmiller's 129 years as a global manufacturer, we understand the specific challenges of manufacturers and the applications needed for lean manufacturing and profitable product development. BWIR serves some of the world's largest manufacturers, along with some small to mid-sized manufacturers aimed at providing total solutions to their engineering and enterprise needs. We hope to work with you as well as your total solutions provider. I'm now going to turn the webcast over to Sri. We'll get right into the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Could you please make me as a presenter? Okay. So, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, gentlemen. Now we're going to get into the technical part of today's webcast, which is basically multi-CAD data management inside Windchill. We're going to actually talk about the best practices and the tips and tricks that's there with multi-CAD data management inside Windchill. We're also going to understand some new enhancements that's come up in 10.2 with respect to workgroup management, and we're also going to see some unknown functionalities which a lot of customers would have not used, which could be of real beneficial to you. So we're going to see a mixture of everything in today's webcast. Before we get into the tips and tricks or the best practices, let's first understand what's Windchill Workgroup Manager all about. Windchill Workgroup Manager is basically an engine which helps customers to seamlessly integrate their CAD application with Windchill. Windchill by default manages Creo parametric data effectively, and to manage any other CAD data, it manages through the Windchill Workgroup Manager. What it helps us to do is it manages the CAD functionalities in terms of parts, assemblies, drawings, the configurations, the attributes, relationships between parts and assemblies, relationships between parts, assemblies, drawings, and all that in a very seamless nature. Windchill understands that the core backbone of a PLM system is its integration with CAD. So PTC treats its Windchill Workgroup Manager R&D in a very, very serious fashion, and that is why we have seen a lot of improvements in the coming years with respect to Workgroup Manager. So let's understand what are all the products that we basically manage inside Windchill. We manage Creo Parametric, which is a flagship MCAD solution. We manage AutoCAD, Autodesk Inventor, Solidworks, NX, CATIA V5, and also Foron. Foron is basically a shipbuilding software. So Windchill's shipbuilding application helps us to manage Foron as a product as well. Apart from MCAD, we also manage ECAD products like Cadence and Mentor Graphics in its various flavors like PCB design, etc. Apart from that, we also manage some direct modeling softwares like Creo Elements Pro, Creo Elements Direct for modeling and drafting. That is also seamlessly managed inside Windchill. So let's now get on to the general best practices with multi-CAD data management with Windchill. These are general best practices which is common for all CAD tools, especially SolidWorks, Inventor, AutoCAD. So let's first look at the first thing that I'm going to show you. We all know that Windchill helps users to create soft types. Soft type is basically the one that you create to differentiate the business object with respect to your business process. For example, in documents, you can have soft types like presentation documents, analysis documents, test documents, and you can basically have attributes for that. But what happened in 10.0 was Windchill extended soft types even for CAD documents. That means that you can have subtypes created for specific engineering CAD types. Like for example, you can have a soft type for sheet metal part, you can have a soft type for machine part, you can have a soft type for casted parts, you can have a soft type for plastic parts. What it means to you is you can basically have specific attributes for them, have specific workflows for them, have specific lifecycle states, have specific revision sequences, and so on. So it helps you to basically replicate or basically capture your internal engineering business process in a more effective manner. Normally I've seen customers basically using the CAD document as a generic soft type, and they check in parts in that same type. So we are forced to use the same attributes, workflows, lifecycle states for, let's say, drawings, models, which might be different in terms of engineering business processes. Because at times you might have a specific lifecycle state for a drawing, a specific lifecycle state for its related part or model. So this is a very important thing that that I would like to recommend people to effectively use, where you have specific soft types for specific CAD documents. How do we ensure that the document that we check in basically goes to that specific subtype is by using an attribute inside the CAD document. The attribute is upload_soft_type. Let me spell it. It's upload_soft_type. Now that is the attribute you need to have inside the specific CAD document, and the attribute is basically the name of the subtype. For example, the name of the subtype is a sheet metal part. So if you have that as the name of that particular attribute, then when the CAD document gets checked in, Windchill understands that this belongs to this particular soft type, and it can go link it automatically, and then the attributes, everything gets populated in that regard. So that's a very, very important tip or very important best practice that I would like customers to adopt in order to ensure their engineering process is captured correctly. So let me go on to the next one. This is again something that I have seen overlooked by users at times. Normally what we do is when we basically create a CAD document, we go to the CAD system and then we say file new, and then hit the command, and then automatically a CAD new part or assembly is open, and then we go about creating it and then we check it in. Eventually what we are missing here is we are not using the templates properly. Now there might be a question that no, I use my templates, but then the templates that I use are basically from the local system. You might never know that the template would have been changed in Windchill by your administrator because of some standard organizational practices that was in place. So the key suggestion that I'm trying to make here is using the user interface for creating new CAD document within the workspace. Now what you get out of it is, first up, you use the correct template that's managed inside Windchill. Second, we can go and add in or fill in the attributes for that specific CAD document type before even we create the CAD document. So you don't need to painstakingly go back to attributes and create them when you check in. Third, we can ensure that auto numbering is properly used, because till 10.1 in Windchill, if we have to enable auto numbering and ensure that users use it effectively, this is the only method. Because when you do file new CAD document inside SolidWorks or Inventor in 10.1, the auto numbering is not going to be enforced. It's going to basically throw a number in random. But here this will help you to drive auto numbering, and also it will help you to specify the CAD document soft type. So you don't need to again go and painstakingly write an attribute called upload_soft type and then put in the value. This will enable you to pick the soft type of the attribute, automatically the soft type of the CAD document, and automatically the attributes would come in place, and it will help you to drive the CAD document accordingly. So this is a very, very important best practice that I would suggest people to use effectively in order to ensure that we follow the right practices forward. So let me go to the next one. Now this is a very interesting one. This is something that's come up in 10.2, which I thought I'll share with users here. I have seen a lot of customers requesting me saying that can you customize Windchill so that it gives me an output in step format, or it gives me an output in IGS format. I want all those automatically done within the representation, probably when the drawing is released or when the part is released. This is something normally customers ask. So PTC has understood this requirement seriously, and then they've come up with this new functionality by which if you could configure publishing rules inside Windchill, it will automatically publish the drawing or the part in 3 various formats. Right now we support step, IGS and PDF formats. So when you go back to that particular drawing and go to representations and you right click, you will be able to see all those formats being automatically published as a part of the publishing rule that you set. Now this is something new that's come up in 10.2. It's not there in the 10.1 version. So this is a very important thing that you can configure, and you don't need to customize the system to achieve this. So this is something very, very interesting in terms of workgroup management in Windchill. Okay, let's move on to the next one. And now this is something, an extension to the the previous slide that I had discussed about new CAD document UI. Now I was trying to tell you that in 10.1, when you do a file new assembly or a part, you're not going to get basically the auto number done because that was not the functionality that 10.1 had. But now in 10.2 onwards, what Windchill is going to do is when you say file new part or file new assembly, you're going to get the auto numbering automatically done. If you have got auto numbering enabled in your objects in your OIR, then when you say file new part, you will get the auto numbering automatically done, and you would be able to basically continue with your design process. However, I would still suggest you to go with the HTML UI methodology, because that helps you to choose soft type, helps you to add attributes and all that. However, the auto numbering functionality is now available when you hit file new part inside your CAD document, be it Inventor, be it Solidworks, or be it AutoCAD. So that's something that's newly added with respect to 10.2. Okay. So now let's look at the integrations in specific with SolidWorks initially, apart from the general ones that we saw before. The first one is SolidWorks support for ToolBox. Now it's basically a myth that we all have. I've seen a lot of users telling me this, that SolidWorks Toolbox is not effectively managed inside Windchill. But over the years, Windchill has matured to ensure that SolidWorks Toolbox parts are effectively managed inside Windchill. It supports them seamlessly, and we are now going to see a quick demonstration of how SolidWorks Toolbox parts could be managed inside Windchill. So let me quickly show you in SolidWorks. So I have SolidWorks open. I also have my Workgroup Manager on. I have 10.2 here, actually speaking. So let me first quickly go to File New. I'm going to create a part now. An assembly. So let's quickly also see one of the other things that I was trying to tell you. So when I say File New Assembly, this is not a best practice, but I want to demonstrate this to you because to show you the auto numbering that is new with Windchill 10.2. If you could see here, I said File New Assembly, but the auto numbering is automatically being put in place, and I'm getting a number as per the Windchill numbering scheme that I had. So that's something that's newly come up in 10.2. So now let me go up and add a toolbox part. So let me access my design library. I have my toolbox set here, and I'm going to select a toolbox part. But before I do this, before I go and select a toolbox part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to access Windchill through my web browser first. I'm going to sign in as somebody called as Pat, and I'm going to show you the place where I have configured my toolbox parts to get checked in automatically. So let me go to browse. I'm picking my libraries. So I have a folder here called SolidWorks Toolbox, and if you could see here, already there are 3 parts checked in. The most interesting thing is it shows with the related SolidWorks icon, a toolbox part. That means Windchill understands that this is a toolbox part, so that's why it's available here. So let me now check in my another toolbox part. So let me now access toolbox. I am going to browse down. Let me pick up a pin. I know for sure that this pin is not going to be the first part in any assembly, but this is only for example's sake, so please pardon me in case of the not following the right process of assembling. Pin should always be there once components are assembled, but that's fine. We're trying to see how toolbox could be managed inside Windchill. And now as I do this, if you could see this is something very, very interesting. Now, I did not press save. I did not do a check-in. I did not do anything with respect to Windchill operation. All I did is I picked up a toolbox part and I've assembled. Now what has happened actually is Windchill has identified that there's a toolbox part assembled, went ahead and checked in that file straight into my library folder. So if I could refresh this, you would know that the part that I just bought in is available here. So it has checked in automatically, and it has not waited for the user or it has not basically waited till we check in the assembly. The toolbox part straight away goes into Windchill. This means that whenever you're going to use the same toolbox part elsewhere, it will reuse this, and it will ensure that we always have those parts inside the library. So this is how Windchill manages toolbox parts effectively in SolidWorks. We also can have attributes mapped to toolbox, and then ensure that even the attributes that you have for the toolbox part goes into Windchill and stays in there. So a very quick example of how toolbox gets effectively managed inside Windchill. So let me quickly go to the next slide. Another interesting thing, SolidWorks has configurations which is similar to a family table in Creo or in Windchill. Configurations is nothing but a derived instance of the generic part where you're going to have smaller design modifications, and then you're going to have form this as a part of your assembly, which comprises a design table. So majority of us know that SolidWorks configurations could be managed inside Windchill, but there is an interesting information that I would like to share as a part of this. There are people who might think that they need to write an attribute inside the configuration to drive the configuration in Windchill. In other words, you need to have an attribute for the configuration called as PTC_IS_instance, and depending on the value of the attribute, the configuration would be exposed in Windchill. That's what is a general consensus among people, but actually speaking, we can drive this through a preference, and we actually do not need the attribute to be present inside the configuration file to do this. That means that I can basically have a preference called as manage model instances as family table, and another preference called manage new model instances by default, both to be set to be yes, so that SolidWorks configurations get automatically checked in with the generic in Windchill. And another interesting thing that has come up with respect to SolidWorks configurations is this auto generate family instance number. That means a configuration also can get automatically numbered as per our Windchill numbering scheme that you might have, and it will not take user defined value if the preference is set to yes. So let me do that now for you. So let me close this toolbox, and let me create new, and this time I'm going to create a part. I can still use the new CAD through the HTML UI, but then let's do this method right now because I don't have any subtypes, so this is fine. So I'm going to quickly create an extruded boss. So this is a part I've created, and I'm now going to create a configuration for this. And now, if you could see here, automatically this has been named as 285 now. This was 284 and this is 285. That means the configuration also gets automatically numbered as per the scheme that we have. So let me activate, let me make this as 1. And let me change this to be 3 or 5 rather. Okay, so I have a configuration which is a thinner block, and I have a default which is slightly thicker. So now I'm going to check in both. I have no preferences set. These are not I have no attributes set. If you could go see the properties of this particular file, I do not have any PTC_is_instance value kept in, so my properties are completely empty. but I will be able to now check in this configuration as well. So before I do that, I'm going to show you this quick user interface that has come up with 10.2. Very interesting one. You have a ribbon called as PTC Windchill now, which will help you to basically check in, check out, revise files easily. Another interesting thing which is not in the presentation, but I want to tell you, is this one. Sometimes, let's say your worker has failed, or you do not have a worker to create viewables for SolidWorks files. You can now use this functionality to create viewables on the save. In the sense, you create viewables as you check in the file. You don't need to depend on a worker to create your viewables. That's something that's introduced with 10.2. So I can use this, and I'm going to check in the file. So let me use a custom check-in. So a custom check-in is going to help us identify the files that we're going to check in. So it's pretty evident that I'm going to take my instance along. So both are going to get checked in. So let me automatically associate it with the CAD, with the WT parts, and I'm going to complete this operation. So this is another interesting that's come up, where you have a status coming in when you upload a file. So when you have a larger file, you know what is the when the file is going to get checked in. So let me go back to home to see the file. Interesting thing. So if you could see here, the thumbnail as well as the visualization viewable has been created. I don't have a worker basically defined for it. There is no server-side visualization created. This was a client-side viewable that's created, and that's what you're seeing here. So this is a very, very interesting thing that's come up with 10.2. So you could use this to greater effect in case you have a very, very busy worker, or in case your worker machine is currently not available. Okay, so next is a very interesting thing that's come up with 10.2. This is again a 10.2 enhancement. This is something PTC is, it's an experimental venture which is now available only with SolidWorks, but I'm sure they're going to release it for other CAD tools at a later point of time. Basically, in 10.1 or in previous versions of Windchill, we cannot directly access the workspace as a user and pull in files as and be required. We might need to access the workspace through the Workgroup Manager UI, and then probably take a file from there and assemble it in an assembly, or probably open the file and then make changes to it. But what they have done with Windchill 10.2 is made this as an open file system, so that users can directly interact with it from the CAD UI and then reuse the files or probably make changes to the files. It goes on like this. So if you go to SolidWorks and if I hit an open option, if you're integrated with Windchill, you get to these two icons, which was there only with Creo before. So when you say workspace, you're going to see the workspace items very clearly. This was not there before in 10.1. You will not get these common space and workspace options. You might need to say open from Windchill, access the Workgroup Manager and see this, but this is now available in SolidWorks UI itself. And you have a common space thing which is going to directly take you to the common space. If you see, the SolidWorks open UI is remaining constant. So you have your reference, quick filters and all that. And then you can go to products. You can probably pick a products here, and you can pick a drawing and directly open it. So I'm not trying, and you can also use your general SolidWorks modes and all that. So you have a SolidWorks open UI with which you can access Windchill for documents directly, and you don't need to depend on a Windchill Workgroup Manager open UI. That's the basic concept of a Windchill file system, a very interesting one, currently available only with SolidWorks, but I'm sure they're going to extend this to other CAD systems as well. So that's about SolidWorks. There are lots of other smaller enhancements that has come up with SolidWorks integration. and other smaller tips and tricks that is available. But I felt that these 4 are the more important ones that would help customers save a lot of their time, also ensure that they follow the engineering best practices to create models in Windchill. So let's also see some newer enhancements that's there with respect to Inventor in 10.2 and some general best practices as well. This is basically a best practice, and some also could be considered as a message that we are trying to share through this, that even content center support is now available with Inventor and Windchill. That means, like SolidWorks and ToolBox, Inventor's native library system, which is called as content center support, is now seamlessly integrated with Windchill. So what we're going to tell through that is, if there are users using Inventor, all they need to do is they have to go set a preference to basically ensure that the content center system is integrated with Windchill, and they specify the library context in which the files need to be uploaded, and then when they use those files inside the Inventor assemblies, those files get silently uploaded like how we saw with ToolBox into that specific library location. So it works exactly like how I demonstrated ToolBox. The only thing is, in SolidWorks it's called as ToolBox, here it is called as content center support. So that is also available in Windchill. So this is something that the users can take cue from. And another interesting thing is frame generator. This was another important thing that was not there before, and now we've brought in. For example, you can actually see that here, from the differences between the previous Windchill and the current Windchill. Frame generators were basically were basically not supported effectively inside Windchill, but now with respect to Windchill 10.2, frame generators are effectively supported. What it means is, you can basically derive an auto numbering option for the frame generator. That means it gives you a specific Windchill number to it, and even if that auto generation option is disabled, frame generator still gets a unique number with respect to the suffix that you have inside Windchill now. So it probably puts in 1:1, 2:1 in order to ensure that the frame numbering is unique, though the nomenclature might be from the library. And that again gets seamlessly integrated with the Windchill bill of material and so on. So we've got now support for frame generator as well. And also the line number and the BOM item number is also integrated with Windchill. That means that when you have an item number specified for your Inventor part, that gets integrated with Windchill for you to sort your BOM. For example, the drawing has something here called the item number with respect to the parts, and when you integrate, and when the part gets uploaded in Windchill, the BOM item number comes in with the specific item number, and that also gets integrated with your WT product structure. So it helps you to sort the BOM. It helps you to also ensure that the right attribute value goes till the end WT product structure. However, this is still unidirectional. That means when you cannot make changes to Windchill and expect Inventor item number to get updated. It is still unidirectional, but this is something that's again introduced with respect to 10.2. So again, next is the AutoCAD integration with Windchill. AutoCAD integration with Windchill, the most key best practice that I would always say to people is usage of blocks effectively in Windchill, because block attributes are seamlessly integrated with Windchill. That means block could be used as a library content inside AutoCAD, and block attributes are linked with Windchill attributes. So when you write in any specific attribute inside the block, the AutoCAD file inside Windchill gets it updated, and also it passes it on to the WT part. But what we're trying to tell here is another interesting thing, where bill of materials could be driven from AutoCAD. Normally AutoCAD represents a single sheet or a couple of sheets of an assembly or a part, and it is unlike a 3D system where we have collection of parts to define an assembly. However, if you want to drive a bill of material from AutoCAD, it's possible, where a block could represent a bill of material, and that bill of material could be passed on to the WT product structure. So that helps you to build bill of material effectively, and it is also seamlessly integrated. That means when you change your information inside the block, it's going to get updated inside Windchill as well. This is a very, very interesting thing that's come up, which could be of great help. Apart from that, AutoCAD Electrical is also now supported in 10.2. AutoCAD Electrical projects are supported inside 10.2, and which is something very, very important for the customers to know with respect to 10.2. So we've come to the end of today's webcast, where we basically talked about how how Windchill is evolving in terms of seamless tight integration with CAD tools. When we started at 10, most of the CAD options were available only in the Workgroup Manager with respect to integration, and we had to always go back to the Workgroup Manager. But now we are talking about Windchill options available inside the CAD system itself. For example, auto numbering, new CAD creation option, or basically even the save viewables with models, which is basically a client-side worker. So we are closely nearing to what support we have with respect to Creo parametric. We also have support to native CAD libraries called ToolBox, Control Central, and so on. And we also are moving towards a phase where, apart from your normal viewables, we could also give output formats like IGS, STEP, and PDF, which could be used for downstream applications. So these are the takeaways from today's webcast, and please feel free to ask me questions, and I'll be able to answer you. Over to you, Matt.
Thank you, Sri. Very nice presentation. As a reminder, we do archive all of our webcasts on our website at BWIR for you to view later and share with others. Also, be sure to visit upcoming webcasts tab on our website to register for our next PLM webcast scheduled for Thursday, August 7th, where we will present reduced product design cost with PLM quality and reliability management. Also, we have released new PLM packages tailored for manufacturers using Windchill. For those interested in learning more about Windchill or data management, you can download our PLM packages on our website homepage to learn more. We'd love to help with your next PLM initiative. Before we go into Q&A, we'd like to get some feedback from our viewers with 3 quick poll questions. The first question is, what type of PLM system do you use? Windchill, Teamcenter, other PDM, or none? Okay, our next question is, are you working in a multi-CAD environment? Alrighty, and our third and final poll question is, do you have a specific PLM initiative coming up this year? All right. Thank you everyone for participating in the poll. We have questions coming through. I'll go ahead and read them aloud. First question is, are these Windchill to CAD solutions available out of the box, or does this require custom mapping or integration software?
The Windchill integration with the CAD systems that I had mentioned, like Creo, Parametric, Solidworks, Inventor, AutoCAD, are all available out of the box. You don't need any specific integration software. Windchill Workgroup Manager is the engine behind it, and that comes along with that specific CAD integration license that you might need to purchase along with Windchill. But that's completely out of the box. PTC R&D owns it, and helps you to come up with updates as and when a new PLM release is released. It's an out and out of the box functionality.
Okay, thank you. Next question is, can different users create different instances of a configured part?
Yes. You can add instances to a configured part at any point of time by multiple users. In the sense, if I am a user, I can add a couple of instances to a part and check it in. Another user can download the generic, add a couple of configurations, and check it in back. So, and it would, and when you get into the history of that instance, it would tell who created that particular instance and at what time and so on. So you can add instances by multiple users at any point of time.
All right, the next question. How are SW ToolBox parts treated in terms of state and revision?
It is treated as the same way as SolidWorks parts as of now, unless we define a specific CAD soft type for the toolbox parts. If all these toolbox parts currently are categorized under CAD document type. So if a CAD document type has a specific life cycle and a revision scheme, it follows the same thing. But however, we can ensure that these toolbox parts get assigned to a specific CAD document type which has a specific life cycle state and a specific revision. That is also possible. So the answer to your question is, right now it follows the CAD document type life cycle state, but we can change it to a specific state, revision scheme, etc. at a later point of time through configurations.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is, it looks like that's all the questions that we have for this afternoon.
Okay.
We want to thank everyone for attending. Please feel free to engage with us directly if you have any questions about how to make your product development more manageable and ultimately more profitable. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, Sheree.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks all. Thanks for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.